What's up, everybody? It's Michael Nettemeyer here. I'm here with Joe Geary, and we are your hosts of the Whitwin Podcast, whatever it takes, whenever it's needed. This is the podcast where sales professionals are made. And today we want to talk about the difference between passive and aggressive selling. Two types of techniques, two types of styles that you have when it comes to selling. If you're a salesperson, you can be passive or you can be aggressive. Joe, what are some examples? Obviously, you probably, just based off the title, you probably want to be aggressive. Let's talk a little bit about what's passive type of selling.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of things that you can do either passively or aggressively. And most of the time people do the passive way because it's the easiest way. It requires the least amount of effort and you don't have to put yourself out there at all. It's very comfortable. You don't get out of your comfort zone, basically. So one of the things that I see probably the most is door knocking. People are afraid to make face-to-face contact, so what they'll do is they'll get a little goodie bag or just a flyer. They'll leave it on your door and just pray that you give them a call, and you're not making any face-to-face connection, and chances are probably 98% chance that person's going to throw it away and never think about you or talk to you ever. So you're literally just wasting your time and your money.
Yeah, because you're just dropping it on the door. You're not even knocking. Right? So it's like, what if you knocked on the door and hope somebody answers? Because a lot of people, they just put the little goodie bag on there or the flyer, and they don't even knock on the door. Right?
They might knock on the door and then run away.
They might knock on the door and run away. Yeah,
which is still passive.
Or whatever
exactly.
It's called, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. That's a very passive type of selling. If you're just putting a flyer together, a little goodie bag, and maybe you're even paying somebody to run out and hang these flyers all over doors for you, do you really think anybody's going to call from it? You could have the strongest call to action on that thing possible, and your conversion is still going to be significantly low because it's a very passive method. You're just kind of spraying and praying. You're going to spend some money on putting a goodie bag together. You're throwing it out there, hoping somebody calls off your message. What's another passive one?
I'd say another passive one is, we talk about how important follow-up calls are. A lot of people will make a follow-up call, and they'll just simply call. The person doesn't answer. They'll just hang up and maybe try again tomorrow or in a week or two, versus the aggressive way where you make the phone call, the person doesn't answer, you leave a voicemail, you immediately follow up with a text message and an email, and maybe even hit them on social media. Yeah. That's a very aggressive way that you're in control and you can make sure they're at least going to see your message, even if they don't answer.
Agreed. And what happens too is some people might make that call, maybe leave a voicemail, send a text, and they'll say, well, when do we stop following up with them? I hear it all the time. When are we going to stop following up with them? You never stop following up with them until they tell you to quit following up with them, or they die. I mean, that's the only way you do it, right?
Yeah, and I'd say another passive way too, it goes hand in hand with follow-up, is just putting someone on an email drip and doing nothing else, not making any calls, not making any personal emails, just simply putting them on an email drip and just hoping that someday they call you, because chances are the email drip's just going to go to spam immediately.
Exactly. So that's another passive way. Billboards, passive, right? Billboards can be passive. Direct mail, if you're mailing out to people, just farming areas, that's passive types of advertising. Some people might be like, no, that's aggressive. I'm spending a lot of money. Yeah, you're spending a lot of money, but what's your conversion off that? How do you really compute how many people actually drove by your billboard? I know they can give you examples of how much traffic's going to drive by, and how many people are actually calling off that thing, like your direct mail. Those are all passive ways, and here's the thing. Passive selling, it takes a lot longer, and it costs a lot more money. The examples we just put out there all cost money. A billboard costs money, and it's a lot of money. Direct mail costs money. Advertising in the newspaper costs money, all right? And so these goodie bags, you're going to hang in flyers or putting some things like that, all cost money. Now, if you flip it and you say, what's aggressive? What does it look like to be aggressive? What if you pick up the phone and just start calling people? Right, and that's the biggest misconception I feel like in our industry. Like, people spend so much time putting together all this like clever marketing, which is all kind of the same if you think about it. Like, is there really any way that you can, there are some people whose videos go viral, right? You can put a cool video, be creative in that. But really in our sales industry, if you want to get your business off the ground, you need to pick up the phone and start calling people.
And I'd make the argument too that the people that do have the videos that are going viral, they're still aggressive. They're constantly putting videos out there. One of them might get millions of views, but chances are you didn't see the 50,000 videos or 1,000 videos before that one that maybe got 5 views. They kept consistently doing it. Maybe it's not on the phones. Maybe it's even Facebook. A lot of people will just simply post a Facebook post, maybe boost it, and they just kind of let it go. They don't actually have it go through Ads Manager, create an ad, create a landing page, look at their conversion every day, retarget the audience. They just simply put the Facebook post there and very passive about it. Maybe I'll get a lead from this, maybe not, but instead of having a structure behind it and being able to target your numbers and actually see what your data is, that's probably another big difference, because everything that you do aggressively, you'll be able to measure, versus everything that's passive, it's just kind of a coin toss. You don't really know what the conversion is going to be. You can't measure your numbers and make any adjustments that are needed, but aggressively you can make any tweaks that you need to make to get better results and actually measure your numbers on a daily and weekly basis.
Right, agreed. It's important. I mean, it's so, and especially if you're a salesperson, you're a business owner, you're working in the sales role, whatever it is, you need to get your business off the ground as quickly as possible. Sending out flyers is not going to get your business off the ground. Put a list together. What I would do is put a list together of who are my prospects, who are my prospective people. Depending on what industry you're in, it could be the yellow pages, the white pages. Like, put a list together, a prospecting, a power list, and start calling those people. Pick up the phone. You will be amazed at how much money you can make by just making phone calls. I see stuff online all the time where people ask, what's the one piece of technology you couldn't live without in your business? And people are like, a CRM, emails, this or that. It's your cell phone. Like, how do you live without your cell phone? This cell phone can make you hundreds, if not millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year by picking up the phone. But people always say it takes money to make money. They think, you have to have so much money in marketing and this. It takes courage to make money. It takes courage to pick up the phone. It takes courage to get rejected on the phone, because that's what's going to happen to you. Not every call is going to go well, but you need to have a script. You need to know what to say, how to say it. You need to know how to deliver it effectively. And when you start doing that and you start building that confidence and that courage and you start making these outbound calls, you can get your business off the ground today. I mean, if you're a plumber and you need business, start calling around the neighborhood. If you're an electrician, if you're a realtor, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, pick up the phone and start calling people. Utilize social media. If you're going to farm an area and you want to send out marketing pieces and direct mail, follow that up with door knocking. Pick up the phone and actually call it. Get a list of people in the neighborhood and start calling them. Retarget that area on Facebook where you can run ads there. You're just seen everywhere now. You're taking massive action on that area instead of just saying, I'm going to send one flyer a month. I got news for you. One flyer a month isn't going to do anything. It's going to end up in somebody's trash can. So what if you pile that on with a flyer, a marketing flyer a month, phone calls to that neighborhood every week, door knocked it, you started dropping stuff on their door, putting flyers out on their door as well. You start targeting them on social media. You run retargeting ads for people going to your website. I mean, you can do all of that and you'll be all over these people, all over this list. That's how you start getting aggressive with sales and not just sitting back and hoping that it happens.
And a lot of it too is face-to-face or just person-to-person, because people want to work with people and not just machines or big companies that they don't even know anybody or have never met or talked to somebody. They want to talk to you, or they want you to at least meet them face-to-face. So that's why door knocking and phone calls are very effective, because you actually get to meet the person, talk to them, maybe see them face-to-face, and actually build a connection versus just a piece of paper. You're not going to build any connections through that piece of paper. No one's going to like you. No one's going to trust you, because trust is the most important thing when you're in the sales process. And if they're never going to meet you or never going to hear your phone on the voice, they're not going to trust you at all.
Agreed. I agree with that. I think that's a great point, because it starts with trust, but it also starts with they have to know you. If people don't know who you are, they're not going to do business with you. So the way they know who you are is by you as a business owner have to get your name and face and company out in front of those people so they know who you are, and that's how you can start building the trust. If you're not willing to do it, most people say most businesses fail because they're undercapitalized. It's not true. It's because they lack the initiative to get in front of as many prospective qualified buyers or sellers as possible. And so that's something that's very important. If you're a business owner just starting off or you're not hitting your goals, you need to be able to pick up the phone and start calling people and get your business in front of people. It does not take money to make money.
It's going to take some time, though, definitely, because when you do the aggressive versus passive, some passive things might make you money right away, but it's not going to be a long-term game. Like, you could go to some ad service or some lead generator company that might guarantee you 3 or 4 leads per week. You might get the leads, but 3 or 4 months down the road, your business isn't going to take off and become an actual brand, which your goal should be to create a brand, not just a simple business that takes care of 4 leads a day.
Right.
You should actually want to create a business, and this is going to be the long-term game too. You can do all these aggressive sales techniques, and you're not going to see results instantaneously, But hopefully within 6 months, a year, 2 years, you're going to start to see the results from your actions that you take. And if you don't do these aggressive sales techniques, 60, 90, 120 days from now, you're going to be hurting really bad.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, people always talk about the 90-day phenomenon, right? And it's like the 90-day phenomenon is basically what you do today shows up in 90 days. And it's somewhat true, but what is definitely true is that if you don't do anything today in 90 days, you're going to have nothing. All right? And so thinking from that standpoint, if I don't do anything today in 90 days, I'm definitely not going to have anything. So put your plan together today. And here's the cool thing, though, if you pick up the phone and start calling somebody, you can have an appointment today. Right? You could be terrible on the phones and terrified to do it, but if you make enough phone calls today, you can set an appointment. Somebody out there has a need for your service, and you can get in front of them today, but you have to have the willingness to want to get on the phone, pick up the phone, and you have to know what's your reasoning behind doing this. Well, I need money. I need to get my business off the ground. Pick up the phone. If the phone will solve just about any of your problems.
And this is a great way, too, just to take lead in your industry, because most people nowadays are scared shitless to pick up the phone. Most people will not pick up the phone at all. They just want to spend money on ads somewhere, give it to some company that will create leads for them. If you pick up the phone, you'll be surprised by how much ground you take in your industry and how much market share you're able to achieve in just a very small period of time, just by doing the things that most people don't want to do.
Yeah, agreed. Well, what would you say too? I mean, there are a lot of people that are like, oh, the phone's just not for me. I hear it all the time. The phone's just not for me. I could never do that.
I think it's just simply an excuse. Nothing is for anybody until you start to do it.
Exactly.
And then you see the results and it works.
Exactly. No one's born great on the phone. Nobody wakes up every morning saying, I can't wait to get on the phone and call somebody. What happens is it's an excuse that people use, and if you overcome that excuse and you just say, okay, I need to make money, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to succeed in my role, and you start practicing your scripts, you know what to say, and you start doing it consistently every single day, what's going to happen is tomorrow you're not going to be great. The next day you're not going to be great. The next day, a week in, you're going to start sounding better. 30 days in, you're going to sound a lot better. 6 months from now, you're going to sound like you've been doing it for 10 years. And what's going to happen is you still might not love it. None of us love it. But what happens is you start to get addicted to the success that comes from it and the money that comes from it. So now all of a sudden it becomes a habit. Hey, I know if I need to make $10,000 this month, I need to make X amount of phone calls. I need to talk to X amount of people. If I want to make $30,000 this month, I know I need to talk to 100 people a week. And now all of a sudden you're controlling your economy, because it doesn't matter what's happening to the outside world. The outside world could be burning down, but as long as you're making your consistent phone calls and talking to people consistently, the income's going to keep coming in. And nothing can stop you but you. And that's what happens too. A lot of people get in the way of their own success. Like what's Uncle G, Grant Cardone talks about. Most people, the biggest problem most people have is they do something and it works and they stop doing it because they try to do something different. When you do something and it works, just 10x that thing and compile and compound on that one thing that's working and blow that thing up. Dig 100-foot hole instead of 100 one-foot holes. And so that would be my tip, is when you find something that works and the phone works, if you work it, you can be extremely successful with it.
Absolutely. And I'd say another thing too is with scripting and training, you need to be aggressive with that as well. You can't be passive. You can't just, sit down, read the script, no emotion.
Yeah.
Just sit there and hopefully maybe tomorrow I'll be better.
Right.
Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to set an appointment. You actually have to aggressively practice and master. You actually have to want it. You can't just sit there and read the script every day and say, hopefully I'll get one tomorrow. You actually have to be present in it, have some enthusiasm, and actually want to close more sales.
Right. Agreed. Because you hear a lot of people that are just kind of like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm trying to do this, and it's just very monotone, no energy, no life into it. You need to stand up. When you script practice, stand up. Don't sit down. When you're making phone calls, stand up. You have to get energy in your voice, because if you're just sitting there reading from a script, you're not going to convince anybody. 50% of your energy projects over the phone, so people on the other end of the phone are only getting half of what you're saying anyway from an energy standpoint. So you need to overcompensate for that and deliver more. And you're absolutely right. If you're just script practicing and passively going through the motions, that's how you're going to perform when it comes time to get on the phone.
And we've seen it too a lot in our industry. There's people that have been with us and they've just passively gone through the training, gone through the scripts, and they don't make it.
No.
Because 60, 90 days from now, they keep doing the same thing passively, and all of a sudden they just don't have anything to show for it because they weren't aggressive with what they were doing, whether that's scripting, being on the phone. Another example is when you're on the phones, You have to act like every single person you talk to is your only customer or your only appointment you'll ever be able to close. Because if you treat it like that, then you're actually going to have some enthusiasm and some passion on the phone and actually want to close. You're not just going to talk like you're about to die or just say, oh, maybe I'll just hang up on this person and try to talk to the next person. You're actually going to want it. Like, you have to want every single person you talk to on the phone to come and meet with you, or you want to come meet with them and actually close them. They have your money. Just like Grant Cardone says, who's got your money? The person you're talking to right now has your money. You got to act like it's all the money in the world in order to get that.
Agreed. Because it is. Most people just kind of think like, that's the thing. Levels of action. There's massive and there's average. People that come in every day, like you said, and they just kind of go through the motions and they just do enough. They hit the minimum standards on calls. They've talked to enough people, but they're at average levels of action, where the people that come in and take massive levels of action, they're the ones that are going to succeed. They're the ones that are going to get ahead. You have to take massive levels of action, and you have to commit. Like a sales profession, you need to fully commit to your industry. And if you're not ready to fully commit, you're not going to make it. You see a lot of people that don't practice scripts. Oh, scripts aren't for me. I just like to, I like to talk to people. You're never going to make it. You're going to ad-lib your way to misery, and you're not going to make it. You need to commit fully to your profession, and when you commit fully to your profession, the sky's the limit. Nothing can stop you except for yourself. And to be honest, why wouldn't you? If you're going to do it anyway, why wouldn't you show up every day hungry, aggressive, committed to making the most money you possibly can?
Yeah, and if you don't get aggressive, your income is going to stay passive as
That's
well.
right.
Your income is going to stay the exact same. 5 years from now, you'll be making the same amount of money if you continue to do what you're doing passively versus aggressively. You'll see exponential growth in your income just by taking the action day in and day out. Maybe it won't be tomorrow, maybe it won't be a week from now. It could be 2 years from now, but you'll see the results eventually just by being aggressive day in and day out.
That's right. And who wants to stay average? If you told your wife that, hey, you know what, I'm going to make the same income for the rest of our lives, and we're going to take average vacations and have average cars and have your husband, whoever, significant other, you're getting ready to propose to somebody, and you say, you know what, we're going to have an average life, live in an average house, have average kids, send them to an average school, take average vacations, have average bank accounts. Will they really want to marry you? But the problem is, that's the problem with the middle class, is that most people are confined to that mindset where they're okay with being average because, hey, I'm doing a little bit better than the guy next to me, right? You need to get rid of that mindset, fully commit, take massive action, and when you take massive action and become an aggressive salesperson that's hungry to make money, your income's going to blow up. So hope that helped. If you have any questions, hit us up, and we'll catch you next time.